You know the little blowout disc that's on a CO2 tank?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but that little thing up by the neck, there's that little square bolt. It's about a 3/8 bolt. That's a blowout disc, little copper thing in there. I had to take all the blowout discs out, show them that, you could push the pin. There was nothing in any of the things. Had to declare all my paintball markers. And for those of you who are serious paintballers out there, I will correct myself. I will be politically correct about it. They are paintball markers. They're not guns. So even that's the same scenario. That's the only way that I can get on a plane if I want to bring, let's say, if I own, let's pick a good gun. How about a hand cannon? Let's say a 50 caliber Desert Eagle hand cannon, let's say.
Right.
And I got it in its gun case. It's in my brief, it's in my checked on bag. When I get up to the TSA agent, I have to tell him that I have a weapon in my bag. Here's the documents and all of that. Am I correct?
Right.
Now, what about ammo?
You're allowed to have ammo.
You can bring the ammo with the weapon
Yep.
as long as it's checked.
As long as it's checked. You don't
In the belly of the plane.
Right.
And there's no access to the belly of the plane from the cabin, right?
Right.
That makes sense.
But if you have a flight to one of those states, they won't let you check it.
Okay. So that just throws a wrench in the whole conversation here. So now, zero tolerance in Jersey. If I'm flying to New York, let's say I'm going on vacation. I'm going out of the country, and we have to fly into Newark, which is New Jersey,
Right.
as a layover. No go.
Layover, yes.
Well, first of all, it's an international flight, so they're not going to let me bring it anyway. But you see what I'm getting.
Right.
Layover, yes. Okay, so if I'm flying from a legal state in the Northeast and we got a layover in Jersey to go to another state, then it's okay. But if my final stop is New Jersey,
if your final destination is New Jersey, they know that you are going to have readily access to that firearm
pistol,
in that state.
Forget it. Not coming in then, huh?
Nope.
Wow. Didn't know that. So there's a perfect example of state-by-state gun control.
It's all state, and if you are traveling from a state, let's say you bring guns into New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
the state arrests you, but you don't pick up federal charges on that.
So you would only get state charges, not federal charges at
Right.
that point.
But if you're taking illegal firearms across any state, it's federal.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. So now, being that we're in Florida, I mean, what's Florida's stance on all of this?
Florida has really good gun laws.
Liberal?
They recognize a lot of the, I don't know, I would call it more so southern gun laws, because most of the states where it's outlawed is in
Up
the north. Florida, you have your castle law, you can conceal carry. If you have a type 3, you can
What does
carry
that mean?
concealed
Castle
carry.
law?
Castle law. It's a law that extends from your house to your car, where you can have any amount of guns.
But and convicted felons, of course, are exempt or don't fall into that because we're felons. We can't own it, right?
The only way you can have a firearm in your house is if someone lives there that doesn't have a felony that has their concealed carry permit.
Right, and I have no access to it at any time.
And you have no access. It's got to be in a safe.
Yep. So that's the castle law. So go ahead, keep explaining to that. 'Cause
Castle law.
I'm unclear on that.
If you feel like your life is threatened and you're in your home or vehicle because the castle law extends to your car, you can have at all times a loaded weapon ready to be fired. And if someone threatens your life or well-being, you can use either threatening or deadly force. Which means someone...
I was going to say, what's the difference? Deadly or threatening? Obviously,
Someone
shoot
comes-
somebody center mag, kill him dead, or shoot him in the leg.
Right. Threatening, I can pull out the gun, tell you, stop, stop, stop. If you don't stop, boom. Now...
Okay, wait. Clarify that. Stop, stop, stop. If you don't stop, boom. Deadly force at that point?
At any rate, like someone smashes your window
Mm-hmm.
and it's coming through, you can shoot them, or you can use threatening force.
Okay, and that falls under the stand your ground law.
Right.
Okay.
And that's your choice.
Gotcha.
You don't have to kill them, but you can.
Right, right.
If it seems like they're still going to hurt you after
Now,
you
morally,
threaten
depending on the situation, obviously, and the circumstances, what do you think you're least likely to do? Wound somebody or just take them out?
If someone
Honestly.
if let's say we're in this house right now,
Mm-hmm.
Angela's sleeping, Felicia's sleeping, I hear a noise, someone's breaking in, I'm going to kill them. Because I'm not going to let them come in and hurt Angela, Felicia, or you guys, and possibly myself.
Right. Well, I would have to 100% agree with Hayden on that right there. Now, let's throw a different scenario. What if you're on the street, somebody tries to carjack you? They're unarmed, but you are. Or let's say they have a knife and you have your gun. Would that be a circumstance where you kill them or you would just disable them?
The knife changes things, I would kill him.
You would?
I would.
No knife, disarm. Or disable.
No knife, I would just threaten him.
Try to shoot him in the leg or something like that.
I probably wouldn't.
You wouldn't even pull the trigger at that point unless they come forward.
Because
that's responsible gun ownership right there, basically.
Yeah.
Very
if
responsible.
I feel like my life is threatened, that's the only time I'll use deadly force. I won't use injuring force where I shoot him in the leg. It's either going to be...
Because you might run into that one
guy
guy
you put a bullet in his leg. And
right, who's been smoking meth for the last 6 days and wouldn't feel it if he got ran over by 3 tractor trailers anyway. So yeah,
right.
He's going to come at you. Yeah,
and
that I agree.
With a 9mm, sometimes you can find that person pretty quick with a 9mm because the velocity of those rounds actually pushes the bullet all the way through you instead of
nice, clean, in, out.
The way it was explained to me is they use velocity and not force.
I don't know much about guns, I'll be honest with you.
Whereas if you have a .45, it's a big bullet. It uses punching power instead of punching speed. A .45 round is not going to go through you, but it's going to screw you up.
It's going to massacre you, sure, yeah, because of the way that it hits.
The rounds...
Silent Mish, I'm sorry, I know you're on headphones and you're in front of the mic, and we're going to try and get Silent Mish to say something here in a minute. Can you lock that door? You have to excuse me, folks. The cats are in and out. We have cats in the studio. Those are my boys. I'm sorry. And I'll put pictures up on the website later. Go ahead.
The use of what kind of round you buy has a lot to do with that. Like, I buy a round called a Hydra-Shock for the 9mm. And it uses the velocity behind the bullet.
Now, this is when you go shooting with your friend with his pistol?
These are the protection rounds.
Okay.
When I go shooting, I buy the target practice rounds.
There's a difference.
For the 9mm, it's 111 grain. It's got less power behind it.
So, obviously, you don't want to go out shooting targets with something that's made to rip flesh completely apart because it's just redundant, I would say.
Yeah.
It's like going out to the shooting range to shoot clay pigeons and having slugs, I guess.
The Hydra-Shock round...
That would be me.
Yeah. The Hydra-Shock round is designed to go through whatever armor someone could be wearing.
Ouch.
And then basically from there it turns into a hollow point and mushrooms apart into fragments and goes about, I think it's something around the range of 20... It circulates 20% of the diameter of the bullet. So it goes in and makes a nice hole.
I've seen on some of them gun shows when they shoot it through the ballistic gel and then they slow it down, the cavity that opens up. It just, at the velocity of the bullet going through the ballistic gel, just rips open a cavity inside. And if you just imagine that being the inside of your body and it going through your organs and all, oh my God. Silent Mish, she's back on the air. We're gonna get Michelle, Silent Mish, to tell us what she thinks about gun control and her opinion. So, Silent Mish, tell me what you think of this. All right, I want to know, and you could be honest. You can tell me what you think about regular citizens owning guns. Go ahead. Alrighty then.
I'm sure she's pro-gun.
Yeah. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Both. Anyway, Hayden, back to you.
But yeah, I mean, even in Florida though, even though we have good gun laws here, and it's, if you're not a felon and you pass the background check and everything. They allow you to buy the gun. You do the 3-day hold. You get your firearm.
Mm-hmm.
It's not exactly the worst state to do that in.
Right, but
you don't have to.
It is a state that it is easy to obtain for anyone to illegally get a firearm.
Right. I mean, they don't regulate it a lot.
Like at gun shows?
Right. You could just walk into a gun show.
Anybody
say that
can,
you're 21,
right?
No 3-day hold. You just pay cash, get the gun, and
that's scary.
Right. And I don't think it's good for people to do that.
Nope.
Because when you do buy a firearm, at some point from the manufacturer, there is a name that gets put in a federal basis that gun is in a way registered to you, even though you don't have to federally register your firearms in Florida.
But when it comes out of the manufacturer, it has a number on each gun, which is unique to the gun.
Right.
So the first purchaser, we'll start there, gets that number registered to his name. If they sell it correctly, the second purchaser gets that number registered to their name.
Right.
So on and so forth until it gets to that gun show, correct?
Right.
Then that last person, gotcha. So that last person whose name on it, that sold it to that person that took it to the gun show, is now whose name on the gun after it leaves the gun show, correct?
Right, and then
with any Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So anyone out there who plans on selling their firearm, don't sell it without a bill of sale, because when the cops come knocking, you're gonna want to show them something.
So you can go on your computer, print up a bill of sale, include the number of the gun, the signature from who you sold it to,
right?
And there's your proof.
There's your proof of sale right there.
So then it takes it out of your hand.
Exactly.
And puts it in that. Now, let me ask you this. Some advice as far as the thoroughness of that letter. And if anybody's out there and they want to ring in, if they have anything, and any knowledge about what we're talking about, we'd love to hear you. Hayden, the number is?
352-410-2084, I believe.
That is correct, yes. Go ahead and give us a call. We're talking about gun control. So basically, when you fill out that bill of sale, what you should really include is like their name, their address, maybe a driver's license number. I would go as far as asking for a social security number. No?
No, I wouldn't go that far. It's really only to prove that you sold the firearm. It's to protect yourself, not them.
But wouldn't you at least want to get then a driver's license copy on that letter or something that says, I'm looking at this person, checking their ID, and I'm looking at the person who I'm selling this gun to, and I have their driver's license number, and it's on the bill of sale? Because let's face it, I mean, with computers and technology these days, anybody can forge those documents.
Yeah.
So maybe, some of these things should be thought about to maybe, and I'll put it in layman's terms because that's all I got, folks. I'm no intellectual. We should tighten the rope a little and really look at, now, and I'm not saying, take away all the guns because I am for citizens to be able to have their own gun. Hell, once I become rich and famous, thanks to all of our fans out there, I'm going to expunge my record because it's no secret. I have a record. I don't give a shit. You want to check it out? Google my name, Louis Andrew Kennedy. You'll see what's up there.
I'm trying to give people advice to protect themselves, not regulate the sale in any way, but legally, if I have a gun and I want to sell it, I could sell it to anyone who's 18 or older.
Are you serious?
Right. I myself morally will...
So if my nephew comes to you, who's like 20 years old, and says, hey, Uncle Hayden will say, I want to buy a gun. You got one? You can be like, yeah, sure, here, give me $20. It's yours. That simple?
Yep.
Wow.
I can gift it to someone anyway. I can't straw man purchase. That's the only thing that regulates that. Someone can't give me the money, and I go to a shop and buy the gun. I can't do that.
Which is called what again?
Straw man purchase.
Straw man.
It's purchasing a firearm through me because they are not of legal age.
I got you. So that's basically like me, someone who's not allowed to have a gun, going to someone like you who is allowed and saying, hey, here's whatever they cost, and go buy me this particular gun.
Right.
So that's straw manning, and that is federally illegal.
Federally
Probably
illegal.
One hell of a punishment.
Oh, yeah. It's a nice punishment.
Very interesting, folks. I am completely sucked in. because everybody wants to know about gun control. You're listening to Talk Shit Radio.